Think about the last movie or show you've watched. Was the protagonist extremely intelligent, battling some sort of inner struggle about their morals, violent, or an outsider? You may have an anti-hero on your hands. Sometimes it's more fun to root for the bad guy. Luckily, the rise of the anti-hero allows us to do so without needing to question our own ethics. Why would you want to be good in the traditional sense, when you can also be good but indulge in your own vices? Personally, I've always favored the anti-hero over the hero, and my favorite characters growing up reflected this. I would always pick Batman over Superman and Anakin over Luke. My opinion is one that has become increasingly popular in society, and I want to understand why this may be. I believe that media reflects how the values within society has changed, and it is important to know what these changes ultimately imply. Why has the Dark Knight risen? The gradual increase of anti-heroes in media has caused society to be more critical of cultural norms. The gradual increase of anti-heroes in media has caused audiences to be more critical of cultural norms. By examining The Godfather and Sherlock, it is evident how the anti-hero has continued to perpetuate changing societal values in intellectual, mental, social, and emotional ability over time. Where did this trope originate from? Originally, anti-heroes referred to a kind of character that had all the qualities and good intentions of a hero, but were incapable and unintelligent. This has slowly evolved and branched out into one of the most complex character archetypes we have today. Some movie and show watchers may believe that the immorality of this kind of protagonist sets a bad example, but I believe they are an essential part of today's society. It is important to understand the intentions for the anti-hero character is not for them to be a role model. Instead, I believe that the anti-hero is supposed to highlight the consequences of these characters' more unsavory characteristics, and how their portrayal plays an important part in highlighting societal values and problems within society. One of the things that always appealed to me about the anti-hero was their obvious intelligence. Many of the normal heroes have these moments of pure obliviousness or bravery that get me yelling at the screen. However, for the modern anti-hero, this is not the case. Intelligent anti-heroes have been prevalent in today's society since the Godfather's Michael Corleone.
Mikey here is definitely an example of this trope's trait. He demonstrates his intelligence to his family when they are deciding how to retaliate to the attempted murder of the Don.
Wait a minute, I'm talking about a cop that's mixed up in drugs. I'm talking about a dishonest cop, a crooked cop who got mixed up in the rackets and got what was coming to him. That's a terrific story. And we have newspaper people on the payroll, don't we, Tom?
Thus begins his rise in the ranks of his family. What this is suggesting is the idea that those with a higher intelligence should not suffer any consequences, that although this person has committed an unspeakable crime, they deserve to reap the benefits of being able to pull it off. This reflects how society valued results rather than the means of how they got these results. We continue to see development in this character trope in the most recent take on Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's famous detective series. As seen in this scene, Sherlock is one of the smartest men in London.
There's a margin for error, but I'm pretty sure there's a 747 leaving Heathrow tomorrow at 6:30 in the evening for Baltimore. Apparently it's going to save the world. Not sure how that could be true, but give me a moment. I've only been in the case for 8 seconds. Oh, come on, it's not code. These are seat allocations on a passenger jet. Look,
There's no letter I because it can be mistaken for a 1.
no letters past K. The width of the plane is the limit.
The numbers always appear randomly and not in sequence.
But the letters have little runs of sequence all over the place. Families and couples sitting together. Only a jumbo's wide enough to need a letter K or rows past 55, which is why there's always an upstairs. There's a row 13, which eliminates the more superstitious airlines. Then there's a style of the flight number 007 that eliminates a few more. And assuming a British point of origin, which would be logical considering the original source of the information, and assuming from the increased pressure on you lately that the crisis is imminent, the only flight that matches all the criteria and departs within the week is the 6:30 to Baltimore tomorrow evening from Heathrow Airport.
Unfortunately, his quick thinking and giant ego helped Moriarty sabotage an important MI6 operation. Evidently, we can see more and more anti-heroes that end up facing the consequences of their immorality as the years pass. Anti-heroes are also known for their propensity for violence, and this relationship has also changed over time. It can be noted that as society moves forward, extreme violence must be more and more justified. Michael Corleone murders the heads of the 5 other New York families to prove a point, and as revenge, and is rewarded for doing so.
Michael Francis Ritchie, do you renounce Satan? his works?
I do renounce them.
And all his pomps?
I do renounce them.
Michael Rizzi.
While Sherlock may respond to boredom with unnecessary violence, he would never kill unless it was a last resort. This again reflects how society began to place more emphasis on motive instead of results. Another major defining trait of an anti-hero is their role as an outsider. The anti-hero is known to reject or be unaware of societal norms. The message behind this characteristic has changed over time as well, from a conformist mentality to one that realizes that people who do not accept your eccentricities are not worth your time. For example, in The Godfather, Michael promises to Kay that he will stay uninvolved in his family's business because he does not agree with what they do.
That's my family, Kay. It's not me.
The consequences of his impassiveness and by standing with what he believes in are that more people that he loves gets hurt. This eventually leads to Mike giving in to the pressure from his relatives as he believes this is his only option. This is contrasted by the relationship between Sherlock and John, who accepts the former's numerous quirks. This demonstrates how society has evolved to be more inclusive and to be more open-minded about individuality. Like Brian McGill says, all discomfort comes from suppressing your true identity.
Michael, why did you come here?
Anti-heroes do not always fit in society because of their sociopathic tendencies. Their lack of emotion does not allow them to sympathize with other characters, as well as a more typical hero might. This is shown by the way they are able to manipulate others, especially in romantic relationships. Michael and Kay's relationship slowly deteriorates throughout the movie. However, he is able to patch things up by knowing exactly what to say.
Because what's important is that we have each other. That we have a life together. That we have children. Our children. Kay, I need you. And I love you.
He manages to get married to another woman during his stay in Sicily, and then resume a relationship with Kay without telling either woman about each other. How does he go through all this without showing any signs of feeling guilty at all? Does this man have no shame? Does he even care about either of them? I don't think so. Probably because of the fact that Apollina, his Sicilian wife, died because of a car bomb meant for him, but her death seemed to have no apparent impact on his psyche whatsoever. This differs from Sherlock's reaction to Irene Adler's death. Even his emotionless brothers acknowledges and offers him support. Even though the words may seem bleak, they are a product of good intentions, to protect his little brother from the pain of heartbreak.
All lives end. All hearts are broken. Caring is not an advantage, Sherlock.
This is demonstrative of a culture that has evolved to offer support for those whose emotional health may not be at its peak. Basically, the anti-hero trope has been fundamentally altered by the views and beliefs of society. The traits of the anti-hero demonstrated in The Godfather and Sherlock help show the shifting views on intellectual, mental, social, and emotional ability. Hopefully, by understanding the anti-hero, You will now live fast and die young, 'cause the not-so-good guys do it well.